league, but he's now, or not our league, my cousin's league. I think I have him in, and now he's
Yeah,
out
I
today.
have Laporta in our league, so I don't really worry about it.
Yeah,
And
I didn't expect him to be out today.
I really don't need to, considering my wide receivers. I have the top 3 in the league.
In our league, I'm oddly confident today in my receivers, being Dobbs, Tank Dell, and Noah Brown. I'm like, all right, I got a weird feeling.
I mean, in our league, I'm not worried about it because the other guy has so many people on bye and just can't fill the slots. So, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, my whole bench is a bye except for Tutu Atwell. He's the only non-bye player on my bench.
I mean, yeah, this guy's probably done because he knows he can't win. I mean, he had Dak in for 38, but then I had CD for 34, so.
Yeah. I didn't know Jalen Phillips got IR'd, even though he's on my IR. Oh, that's right. He tore his Achilles, I think.
Good morning.
Morning, Boogie. I know, Mew. He knows he's my favorite, so like when he whines at the door, I feel like crap. So he knows I'm going to come let him out. Anyway, we got a lot of bye weeks this week, so if you guys have fantasy questions, ask them. Playoffs are literally, I think, next week or within 2 weeks, depending on your league setups.
Yeah, I have a one that this is we have one that's this is the final week. Ours goes for another couple, and yeah, almost all fantasy leagues go to playoffs by week 15 at the latest. Obviously that brings week 17 into play, which is tough because some teams won't play their players for the whole game, so it's kind of a crapshoot for the championship.
Yeah, ours start next week, I think. Actually, I think it's 14, 15, 16. I could be just 15, 16. I don't know.
I can take a
I made sure ours doesn't go to 17 because of exactly that. Or wait, no.
It does.
They do go to 17. They don't go to 18.
Oh, yes, you're right. It would be week 18, not week 17. So
yeah. So ours goes to week 17. It doesn't touch the final week because, like you said, teams like Philly, if they win today, will probably be resting all their players week 18.
Yeah, outside of that, there's a lot of teams still battling, so it kind of puts an emphasis on the end of the year.
Yeah, Philly wins today, and I don't remember the other stipulation. There's one other stipulation. Oh, Detroit loses. Philly automatically locks the playoffs.
Oh, lock the playoffs, yeah.
Already. That's fucking nuts. But
I mean, we'll get there when we talk about it because today.
And if they win next week, if they win today, I think they win their division automatically.
Yeah,
next week they play Dallas. Oh. Anyway, we got a lot of games to talk about. We got a lot of major injuries and bye week replacements because there's some interesting names that have come up. So we didn't pick on Monday because we kind of just were getting late and we were both tired, forgot about it. We both picked Dallas off the air, and it wound up being way closer.
Way closer than we both anticipated, for sure.
Yeah, I even told Dot, I was like, I don't think this is going to be a game. The way Seattle's been playing, the way Dallas has been playing, especially at home, I was like, this should be a blowout. And I didn't care about my pick. I was rooting for Seattle hard, but oh well.
Yeah, I mean, they came out strong, right? And, I mean, Deron Bland was getting –
oh, he was beat like he stole something. Yeah. I actually saved his thing against DK.
He gave up, like, the most scrimmage yards in a game for the year or something like that. I was because they had this whole thing about him in the beginning.
In the first half, the Seahawks completed 6 of 7 passes for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns when targeting against Deron Bland. Like, that's how you go from Defensive Player of the Year to not in the conversation in one game. You just get fleeced.
Well, it's kind of like who's the guy that's out? Diggs. Like Diggs, yeah, he has a lot of interceptions, but he gives up a ton of yards.
Yep, but Bland had the second lowest passer rating in the NFL against him until this week. Like, he was actually living up to the whole package. And then,
I mean, DK really showed him.
He also ran the fastest route in the season.
Mm-hmm.
So
on that catch, right, the 73 yarder.
Yeah, he burnt through. I mean, I'm picking the Chiefs if that helps you any. I mean, there's no shot Green Bay has today. I know Dot's in the air. I'm not. I don't.
They might. I'm waffling. I'm not there yet, but I'm waffling.
Just Aaron Jones has been too garbage for me to believe in him.
Kind of like your cat. I gotta go let my dog in. Hold on.
That's fine. He's already doing chaotic shit behind me again, but I'm just ignoring it. He doesn't know how to listen. Why am I watching Rich Eisen beat the shit out of Rich Mariucci? Or Steve Mariucci. But anyway, yeah, that game Thursday was crazy, though. I didn't expect it to be that close. So, I don't know. It gives me hope that Dallas might not be as good as I thought they were because they were at home. Like, if this was on the road, I wouldn't even have concerns. I'd be like, wow, Dallas won a tough-fought battle on the road. But since it was at home, I'm like, maybe they won't be that good.
Yeah.
Even though Dak looks phenomenal. And I heard today from Ian Rappaport that in the offseason they are working on a long-term extension with Dak. So,
I mean, his numbers have been good this year, right? Like,
yeah, I still don't know if he can lead the fourth quarter game-winning drive. Unlike goddamn Boogie's going to flip when I say this, but unlike Jalen Hurts, who apparently is the greatest fourth quarter comeback quarterback of all time.
Yeah,
the dude is 5-0 this season when trailing by 10 points in the fourth quarter. That's freaking nuts.
Well, it just seems like he doesn't really get shaken by being behind, right? Like,
exactly. And they showed the stat like all other teams when trailing in the fourth quarter by 10 points this season are 35-127. And then there's Jalen Hurts at 5-0. And I was like, oh, okay. But
just to be clear, Dak is at 6 interceptions right now with a few weeks to go. He might not get to 10.
I have a feeling he's due for one next week against Philly. I actually looked at this. He could hit exactly 10, but there's no shot. So normally, but the fact is the Chiefs this year don't get down by 10 because they don't, besides last week against the Raiders, they don't score points in the second half. They're the lowest scoring team in the NFL in the second half this season. So I don't want to know what would happen if they were down 10 at the second half with how they played this season.
It would honestly be whatever team they're playing, right?
Yeah, they played the Raiders last week.
They were down 14 to the Raiders, but
yeah, but that was before halftime.
I know, but I'm just saying. So, like, it's really dependent on who they're playing, right?
Yeah, because Aiden O'Connell sucks big dick. So, I mean, you never really know.
Like, they haven't been able to do that against better teams. They haven't been down that
Not
much.
This season.
But they haven't.
I mean, it's not Mahomes' fault. I mean, the team leads the league in drop passes by a very large margin. Like, people keep saying, oh, they lead the league in drop passes. They don't mention the fact that it's not even close. Like, I'm pretty sure the Chiefs receivers could be immaculate the rest of the season with no drop passes, and they probably still finish the season with the most drop passes. It's not even remotely close.
MVS leads the league in total drops, I think, at 6 or 7, and he's too clear of the next worst person, and I think that might also be on his team.
It's Tony, second place. Yeah, 21% of Mahomes' incompletions are drop passes. That's just fucking asinine. We've talked about how organizations build and how they've not chose to keep receivers around him.
You have to pick your battles, right? You want to keep Kelsey for now, so you're paying Kelsey. You're paying Jones for the year. I think you pay him after this year. You've seen what he can do, but that means you're going to lose somebody like L'Jarius Sneed.
Oh, not sure. Thank you so much for the sub, by the way. Let me give you a shout out.
Appreciate it.
I actually went to Twitch.
They're gonna, and this is what happens. You can pay basically your quarterback, one offensive piece. You pay somebody like Jones. He's a game wrecker, and you can kind of pick one more, right?
Well, I'm wondering if with like Kelsey potentially the way he was talking on that show,
retiring.
He might not jump right to it.
Yeah.
But maybe since he sees retirement probably after next season, I'm thinking unless he wants to go out with his brother, because I'm 90% sure Jason's retired at the end of the year.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a reason he only signed that 1-year deal.
Yeah, he basically said we'll go one more to try and win one.
Yeah. So, like, unless he wants to go out with his brother, I still think he has 1 year left. Because, I mean, we saw it last week, right? I mean, he kind of turned it back on. But, yeah, I mean, him and Taylor already bought a house together. I don't think he's going to leave. I think Taylor loves the Kansas City atmosphere because it's like,
yeah, and I
he's
think
a private person. So when it's not football season, it's like the perfect place for her to live because there's no media there.
And I think he wants to retire a Chief, right? Like it would just
he'll play his whole career for them. But like I'm thinking maybe like if Kelsey wants to stay another year, you go up to him and be like, hey, you want to renegotiate that contract so maybe we can go get a free agent receiver. There's going to be
try
a
and
few
win
big
one
names.
more before you go. Basically what his brother's trying to do, but next year.
Yeah, there's going to be a few big names this season in the offseason at receiver. It might even be Amari Cooper. I can't remember all of them, so I don't remember. But like, there's a good chance the Chiefs can just all they need is a true number one. Rashee Rice is fine as your 2. He's going to have drops because he's a rookie. Rookies have their mistakes. They have their errors, especially at receiver and tight end. So I don't have issues with what Rashee Rice has done this year. But MVS, they're strapped. They owe him $14 million next year, even if they cut him. He's dead cap $14 million. So I mean, they're strapped with paying him.
Yeah, that sucks.
People thought Green Bay was nuts for letting MVS leave, but I mean, you saw that video you sent me, how many dropped Aaron Rodgers long balls he had. No one talked about them because they weren't game-winning moments like they were for against the Eagles, but they were just big long balls that just went right through his fucking hands. He's just great at it. So they are unfortunately strapped with him, but maybe they could get him to renegotiate. I mean, he hasn't lived up to his damn name, so
right.
I don't know. But anyway, we got picks. We can obviously keep talking about other things while we do these because these picks are going to be pretty easy because most of these games aren't close. First one is close for all the dumb reasons. Falcons-Jets.
Falcons-Jets.
In the Meadowlands. I think it's going to be raining,
I looked
but
at
I'm
the
not
line
sure.
on this too, and it only being a 2-point line.
That's because no, it's not going to rain apparently.
It gives me pause, but at the same time, I'm like, the Jets they can't score.
Yeah, I'm taking the Falcons simply because all you have to do is score like 13 points and you probably win the game.
Yeah, you can win 13-10 against the Jets.
Yeah, all right.
Or 15-13 if you're my team, you know?
Yeah, doing the same, I assume?
Yes.
I would have, I'm not going to lie, I would have probably debated this more and maybe taken the Jets if Simeon was quarterback. But the fact that it's Tim Boyle, I have zero faith.
Yeah, and it just looks like they don't care about a game plan like for him.
And it's weird to me because like we talked about how you shouldn't open the window for Rodgers, just let him stay out for the year. You're not going anywhere. Why risk him getting hurt? But then this week when he was talking about it, he goes, I figured what's the worst that can happen? And I'm like, well, I don't know. You could never play football again. I don't.
Yeah, I worry about it. I think it's a lot further than people think. It's just one of those things where they're like, we can use it for media.
Well, 21 day.
Draw some attention away from how piss poor our offense is.
Yeah, and the 21-day window, he's most likely going to wind up playing Christmas Eve like Ian Rappaport reported months ago, or a month ago. So, I mean, that's most realistic. Anyway,
I don't understand, though, because he's been talking like he hasn't been able to really run full speed yet.
No, he's going to stand in a pocket and not move. He's going to be Peyton Manning at the end of his career.
I mean, he's going to have to get, like, what is he going to do? Snap and throw? Like, that offensive line is terrible.
Yeah, I mean, if Sam Howell wasn't a quarterback, the Jets quarterbacks would be the most sacked in the NFL. But unfortunately for Sam Howell, the Commanders have the worst offensive line in the NFL. So
that is true.
He's getting bum rushed. But the Jets are right behind it. I mean, every game they have like 6 sacks against them. So next one, I don't know. I struggled with this week thinking about it, but I think it's for all the wrong reasons. But I think it's because I hate Brandon Staley. Chargers, Patriots in New England. I know it's your strategy is to always pick against your team, but both of your teams are playing in this game.
I know this is a tough one. I'm like, you know what? The Chargers could lose this, but they're not going to.
And Bailey Zappe's the quarterback.
Bailey Zappe's the quarterback. Possible. What is it? Possible. Keenan Allen doesn't play, from what I hear.
I thought he was playing.
I mean, I haven't looked at it since, but I know last couple
He's
of
active.
days it was wavering. He's active.
Yeah, he's active.
Okay, so yeah, I think with that being said,
I put him in a DraftKings.
I think it's going to be closer than people want it to be.
I unfortunately agree with that. The game day morning crew said that they don't even think it's going to be cover the spread. So they show you how they don't feel about it.
Yeah, like it's odd, right? And I keep hearing that Staley's not going to survive the end of the season.
If they went out, he will. Nightmare situation.
That would be the worst, right?
Nightmare situation for you. Anyway, I'll take the Chargers. Who are you taking?
I'm taking the Chargers here too. I think
don't like Bailey
the Pats can keep losing and try to get that number one pick.
To take a Division III quarterback instead of Williams.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
You'll take the quarterback from like the Colorado School of Mines because he beat.
Did you see that? You saw that video?
I don't remember who
right with Belichick.
Yeah, there was a current NFL quarterback he beat in a game. So Bill will be like, "See, it'll work." All right, next one, Lions Saints. I actually need to pull the injury report or something because I was doing DraftKings before we went live, and
favorite
on DraftKings Sportsbook, I couldn't bet on a line for Derek Carr for passing yards or anything else, and I don't know why.
So you want to see New Orleans Saints? He's not listed. Not on.
No, he's not. I literally could only do Jared Goff when I was doing it.
Maybe they're just like, he sucks so bad we can't let you do it.
Come on, I could put 100. I could put money on Tim Boyle throwing for 165 yards.
Makes sense.
The Lions secondary is so bad. There's no chance Derek Carr doesn't throw for at least 200. But no, I mean I don't know. He's listed even on the Score app as the starter. I don't know. That was weird. But maybe I need to update DraftKings. Who fucking knows? All right. So this game is what, a 4-point, you said?
Yeah, 4 points. I mean,
this is hard only because of the 8 turnovers in 2 weeks by Jared Goff alone. And he's 1-2 in New Orleans.
Like, you feel like it continues? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just worried, like, this defense, regardless of not having Marshawn Lattimore anymore for the season, is still a pretty hungry defense. So I'm worried he's still going to make dumb mistakes.
Yeah, but kind of like the Jets, the Saints can't finish. They can't score.
Well, and the Saints also love to give dumb mistakes. So
yeah, I'm taking the Lions here. I think they cover. I feel like they rebound here, right?
You know what?
I think you're thinking the opposite, but I think they rebound.
I'm going to do it. I need an upset of the week. I'm going to make this my upset of the week. I wanted to take the Packers as the upset of the week, but I have zero faith in that. And I have a little more faith in the Saints. So I will take the Saints here. Only because we keep saying they're going to rebound, but ever since they got their ass whopped by Baltimore, they have struggled to win every game they've won, and they got beat by the Packers pretty bad. I mean, they should have lost to the Bears, let's be honest. And then they got their ass beat around by the Packers, regardless of the 7-point line they scored that touchdown with 52 seconds left to make it a 7-point game. I haven't seen anything fight back yet, and I need to see it before I believe in it. And I don't know. Dennis Allen has to know his job's on the line. If you lose the division to whatever the hell Atlanta's doing on offense, you have big problems, and you obviously probably aren't keeping your job.
Well, yeah. I mean,
so this is a right step.
One of those people that is definitely getting looked at a little harder now because this team was supposed to be better this year, right?
Yeah. I mean we thought they were going to be
performing as bad as the Chargers, but that should not be your reference.
Yeah, we thought they would walk away with this division.
Right.
And they're not. They're actually not even winning the division.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. I'll take a gamble on them. I just talked myself out of it, but I'm going to stick with it just because. Cardinals, Steelers.
I feel like the Lions could lose this game. Like,
I mean, you never know. I mean, the Lions are the Lions. They can lose any game because they just tend to. They still shoot themselves in the foot with dumb mistakes, but
yeah, They're an evolved version of Davis Mills.
Yeah. Cardinal Steelers in Pittsburgh. I don't know what the weather's like up there. I'm only 2 hours away, but it's been raining here for a day and a half.
Yeah, that makes
it
sense.
says 0% precipitation on my phone, so I don't know.
Yeah, it says 46 and overcast. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm going to take Pittsburgh. This defense, I feel, will do enough. Kyler might have an okay day, but I mean, this defense will win them games. And I think against this team, they may actually go for 400 yards again.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
You thought you were going to pick the Cardinals?
I didn't look at all the stats behind it, but the Cardinals are 0-6 on the road. I can't do it. I wanted to so
bad.
And
it's against this defense, right? Like,
but
Pittsburgh's defense isn't as good as people think stats-wise, but they're winning them games.
Keanu Benton's really waking up at defensive tackle, so they're starting to really get better in defense because that was their weakness. Like, even with Watt and what's his name on the other side, Highsmith on the other side, you could step up into the pocket and get in pressure inside those two edge rushers. But now Keanu Benton is starting to eat in the middle, and people are having a harder time doing so. And I mean, Kyler can make it problematic because he does tend to run better to his left, which is the slower side. He's not running towards Watt, so he might be able to do some damage, but James Conner has fallen completely off the wagon. Like, he looked good at the start of the season. He looks
since he came back, same. Right? Like, he just.
And I know this is a revenge game for him. Technically, Pittsburgh. He played at University of Pittsburgh. He was a Steeler after the draft. But he's been so bad. I actually have bold predicted, and I will do it here. I bold predicted online about this. I actually think Michael Carter leads this team in running today. I know everyone forgot he was there because the Jets cut him, but the Cardinals picked him up immediately. And he had some touches last week in his debut, but I think he's going to get more. I think Freiermuth's going to tear this team apart. I think it's a big piece
for Pickett too, right? Like, you saw it last week.
People keep saying, "Oh, Matt Canada got fired. Pickett had the best game of his young career and all this stuff." And I was like, he also got Freiermuth back at full strength.
And that might have been tore him up. Like, he tore him up.
Yeah, that might have been a big part of what happened. But, I'll take the Steelers. I was trying to literally talk myself into the Cardinals, but I can't do it. I just if this was in Arizona, maybe, but it's also a West Coast, kind of West Coast.
Yeah.
To East Coast at 1:00, which I hate. So, all right, Dolphins Commanders.
Dolphins Commanders
in DC, 8.5 point line.
The line opened at 9.5. It's now 8.5 in favor of Miami.
It was 9 when they were picking it earlier on game day morning.
Yeah, it's now at 8.5
point.
Now
Javon Holland inactive. Well, that's not great.
And Miami lost their best pass rusher.
Yep, to the Achilles tear.
Man. And that was with no contact. It was another no contact injury.
Yeah. And Robbie Chosen, bro. I mean, he's inactive.
Oh, damn. I'm
you.
I just feel like I feel like Washington may play better than people think, but they're just not going to be able to keep up with Miami.
Yeah, I can't do it. There's no shot.
Yeah.
This isn't one of those I can talk myself into.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins don't lose to losing record teams. They lose to winning record teams.
Right. They're just like Dallas.
Yeah, and they play each other in a couple weeks.
I know. It's like it'll be the battle of first 500 team win.
Actually, it might be. I don't know. Dallas might win against the Eagles. I really don't know.
I mean, Dallas is just playing real well. Tough to kind of bet against them for the time being. But here, I just think, again, Tyreek will do Tyreek things. Waddle will be fine. A-Chain back, right?
Yeah. full health, ready to go. He was fully cleared earlier the week.
Washington's pass rush, obviously they got rid of a couple guys, so I just think Miami will do what Miami does and just score points. They might start slow. They've had a few slow starts. They're almost like a team that I feel like they always play to their competition, whether it's up or down. Even if they don't win, they play teams hard above them and lose, but the teams below them they beat, but it's like they have terrible starts.
Yeah, I mean that Carolina game was closer than it should have been for a long time.
Yeah, so. It's very strange, right?
But Jack Del Rio being fired. This is Ron Rivera taking over as DC this weekend. So I am intrigued to see if this defense it might pick up a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to slow them down because they're the Dolphins and they have Mostert, A-Chain, Waddle, and Hill. You can't, and Jeff Wilson even had a good game last week. I don't know how you're going to stop all that. But Ron Rivera is way better than Jack Del Rio has been. So I think that at least maybe going forward, the Commanders might see a little improvement on defense because they're 30th against the pass. This is a team that last year was a pretty good team all around on defense, and they're almost dead last. They're third worst in the league against the pass. So
yeah,
Ron will probably help fix some of that. But not today. All right, so there's the 1 o'clock games because we have 6 bye weeks this week. If anyone has fantasy questions, again, we are here for that. We have 6.
Oh, you know what?
Did I miss one?
Denver, Houston?
Oh, I did. How the fuck? That's just...
I was going to say, I thought that one got flexed back into a 1 o'clock slot, so I was wondering if it had worked, if this ESPN site was correct or not, but I was pretty sure it got moved from a 4 o'clock game to a 1 o'clock game.
My phone does. My notebook doesn't have that because I didn't update that. That's what happened.
Okay. Denver, Houston.
We've only got 3 4 o'clock games. That sucks. 4 o'clock time.
Yeah, but everybody's going to be watching one of them.
Oh yeah, good call.
That's why it's that way.
All right, so Denver and Houston, the good 1 o'clock game of the day.
Houston is a 3-point favorite.
So it's an even line because they're at home.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm hard pressed not to pick Denver here.
I don't know. They're on a 5-game win streak, and this could be 6. I don't know. No Dalton Schultz.
No Dalton Schultz, you're right. Who else does he have? I don't
know who the tight end is, but he's got Pharaoh Brown back this week, which is huge.
Yeah.
Normally I wouldn't say that, but we see how much he loves Pharaoh Brown. So now you've got Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Pharaoh Brown, and Robert Woods in this offense.
Still, and then obviously Titus Howard is on injured reserve now, so that's a tackle. That's huge.
And on the other side, I mean, they're relatively healthy besides Dulcich, but he's been out for a while.
As much as I like Houston, I think I'm going to go Denver here. I think this defense just kind of stifles him today. And I could be 100% wrong on that because obviously he's been performing almost week in and week out, but I don't know. Something about Peyton and this.
I didn't wear my JJ Watt jersey today because I didn't want to jinx the Texans, but I'm taking the Texans.
Okay.
I just can't. I don't know. I'm relying on Stroud and Love in so many leagues right now, or Stroud and Tank Dell in every league I'm in this week. So fuck it. I'm rolling it. I don't know. Denver could easily win this game, but also at the same time, Denver's one of those teams right now with their win streak looks really good, but they're winning games by keeping teams down and scoring and barely just chipping away at the scoreboard. If Houston gets out real fast, Denver might not be able to do anything.
Be able to use their game plan.
Yeah, because right now their game plan is just beat you down with the run game and keep your offense off the field. But if Houston gets on the field first, hits Tank Dell for a 60-yard bomb right off the rip, they're already playing behind.
Yeah.
So I feel like this game it is one of two things. Denver will win the game by grinding it out, or Houston will win this game by taking away Denver's game plan by scoring fast. So
Right.
I don't fucking know. I'll roll with the Texans because I need to gain games on you, and they're the home team.
All right.
Now back to the first 4:00 game. Carolina and Tampa. They both suck. I don't know.
Yeah. Tampa's a 3.5-point favorite, and it opened at 6.
How the fuck did this gain 2.5 points in favor of Carolina?
I honestly don't know.
Godwin being questionable? I don't.
I mean,
Devin White's out.
kind of in a similar fashion to the last game where I took the hot team. I'm gonna leave the cold team cold here, and I'm gonna go with the Bucks, even though they have the worst pass defense in the NFL. That doesn't matter when the quarterback can't see over the offensive line.
I don't want to do it because I despise David Tepper, the owner of the Carolina Panthers, and I fucking don't want his move to look like the right move. But no Devin White, no Levante David in this game, with an already terrible defense, potentially no Chris Godwin. I don't fucking know why I'm doing it, but I'll just take Carolina on a whim that having both starting linebackers out will destroy this Bucs defense further, and Carolina will score 27 points to win a game.
Oof. You're taking some
with a special teams coordinator being promoted to head coach. That's my logic.
You're taking some big leaps here, man.
You know, I don't know. Just both linebackers being out really has me worried. I mean, if this becomes a shootout, though, I would still rather have Baker than Bryce Young. I can't believe I said I'd rather have Baker Mayfield than somebody else.
Especially a guy who's a first draft pick overall.
This is hard because now I'm starting to debate myself because Rachaad White could really have a game here. Nope, I'm going to stick it. I'm going to fuck it. I'm just going to stick with my instincts. I don't fucking know. Why did I close the score app?
Think about this, okay? This is the type of matchup we got today. 30th ranked passing offense of Carolina versus worst NFL pass defense in Tampa Bay.
31st now.
I
don't know who the hell got worse than them. Probably the Chargers, but I don't know.
Oh, probably.
But yeah, I mean, Carolina's got the 24th ranked run defense, but they're playing the 31st ranked rush offense. But Carolina has the 4th best pass defense. People keep sleeping on how good this secondary is. So I don't know. Maybe they slow down Mike Evans, especially if Godwin doesn't play. I don't know. I'm just going to roll with it and see what the fuck happens.
And you were correct in your assumption. It is the Chargers.
Nailed it.
They give up 280 yards per game, and Tampa Bay gives up 267.8.
Jesus Christ. That's 13 yards is a big difference when you talk about per game over 13 games.
In a game of inches, right?
That's a significant, especially when Brandon Staley. I mean, they're both Todd Bowles and Brandon Staley are defensive coordinator-minded coaches, and they're both failing.
Yeah, actually, they should both probably be on the hot seat. I mean, Staley, obviously, his seat is boiling right now.
Todd Bowles will probably get another season.
Not the owners for some reason. Todd Bowles.
They'll probably get another season simply because they don't have they walked into this season with no true quarterback, and they'll probably give that excuse to him. And losing your starting center, but most teams don't pay attention to that, so I don't know. All right, Browns, somebody else. Rams. Oh, I forgot another 1:00 game. I'm so bad at this. Colts Titans. I think I wanted to forget this game existed.
Yes. This is a horrible game.
1-point favorite are the Indianapolis Colts visiting their division rival Tennessee Titans.
Just like at the beginning of the season, I'm going to stick with it and say the Titans are terrible and the Colts win this game. Obviously, it's very different with Gardner Minshew, but Tennessee's just bad. And
no
Derrick
Jonathan
Henry
Taylor.
has not looked good.
He looked really good last week, though.
I mean, okay, but overall, and
they are 26th against the run. No, I still can't talk myself into it. Zach Moss still could have a good game here. I'm going Colts. No Jonathan Taylor. I don't care. I'm going Colts.
Yeah, that might actually work for them, right? Like,
I mean, he's been really beneficial to them, but I just think that they're going to try and air it out a lot more against the Titans because the Titans have a monster who is now becoming an incredibly good player in the red zone for this offense. But Jeffrey Simmons still stops the run almost single-handedly for the Titans.
yeah.
So I still think the best strategy is still use the play action pass, use screens, get the defense on their back feet, and then hand the ball to Zach Moss late in the game. And I think it'll work. And what Gardner Minshew's been able to do every week, no one knows who the number one receiver is. It's either Pittman or it's Downs, and it has confused defenses because we've seen Pittman have games where you're like, oh, Pittman really isn't the one. And then last week, what did he have? Like 128 yards, a touchdown, like 10 catches. Like the dude.
Yeah.
Minshew finds his favorite target based on what you're weakest at in your secondary. And I 100% believe we'll see a very good Josh Downs game this game.
Hello.
What's up, Gustav? How are you doing today? Welcome in. If you have any fantasy questions or just want to hear some picks or opinions on picks, give them to us. We're here for you. But yeah, I'll go Colts. I don't feel comfortable with it because they're division rivals and you never really fucking know. But
yeah, it becomes a much tighter game for just because of familiarity, right? Like,
yeah. Now here's the game. I don't know. I really can't answer a question. This team because I don't know what's going on at quarterback. But Browns Rams in LA. Thompson Robinson did not clear concussion protocol today or yesterday. I mean, so he is not playing. And I do not see who is listed as the starter between PJ Walker and Joe Flacco.
I heard Flacco was starting.
Okay. On this app, it does not say anything. It just has Matt Stafford as the lone quarterback.
Be the starter. I believe it was yesterday.
Yeah. Because Ed Reed apparently tweeted about it.
Yep.
All right.
That's I don't know. I don't know what to do here. Because the Cleveland defense is so good. Is this like a Pittsburgh thing? Does Flacco come in and Fitzmagic his way to a win? Like, I don't know.
I'm taking the Browns.
And I think Rams are favored by 3.5 and they're home, right? So it's only half a point.
Wait, what? Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Right, half a point on top of what you get for being a home team. How are the Rams health-wise? Is everybody playing? I think everybody's playing, right?
All the major stars, Kyron, Kupp, and Puka. Their injury report is actually only 4 players, and all of them are on the IR except for one. And it's Michael Hoyt, the number 2 linebacker. He's questionable for the day. Stetson Bennett has been designated to return. He's in his practice window. Does that help? I'll tell you what, that man wishes he was at the Georgia game yesterday.
I feel like if Aaron Donald gets through that line, Joe Flacco might be turned to dust.
But
give me the Rams. I don't like it against this defense, but I just feel like.
So I took the Browns simply because the Rams defense is questionable. And I see Joe Flacco, and I know a lot of people go, oh, Joe Flacco, he sucks.
Can still throw the ball.
I still see him like an Andy Dalton. I think he's the best quarterback on the Browns, flat out. And I think he's going to make Amari Cooper come out again. And I think Elijah Moore, Amari Cooper, David Njoku, I think it's just 3 really good weapons for someone like Joe Flacco to have, especially behind a good offensive line. It's not like he's behind, like everyone's like, oh, remember what he did with the Jets? He was behind a sieve. Like there was no one stopping him. like from getting rushed. He's got a good O-line in front of him. I think he's gonna have a good game. I'm gonna roll. I do like Kyren Williams a lot this week because the Browns are first against the pass, but Kyren Williams could really maybe do something here. The Browns are 12th against the run, so this is it's the Rams' best chance is to try and control the clock, use Kyren, and then enough of Kyren might open up play action to Puka or Cooper Kupp, who always seem to have one of them open. So we'll see, but I'll go Browns just because it's funny because preseason you picked the Browns and I picked the Rams, and now we have flipped.
Well, I don't think you're predicting that they're going to be on their fourth quarterback, right?
Yeah, no. With the preseason we picked this, we definitely weren't thinking for quarterback.
I mean, the Browns defense is still the Browns defense. Like they could absolutely stifle and still lose 13-10.
Yeah.
But I would actually like it if Joe Flacco comes out because this team is good enough that if they figure out what to do at the quarterback, right? Well, Deshaun Watson's done for the year. They still got a solid shot with that defense. Like you've seen defenses that can stop teams and keep them to 10 points.
And I'm not saying he can pull the magic of old, but he statistically is the greatest quarterback in playoff history.
Right.
So, I mean, you never know. All right, game of the week, potentially game of the year in the NFC. 49ers, Eagles in Philly. Niners enter as a 3-point favorite in Philadelphia.
In Philly, right? Like, that's just straight disrespect.
Is Boogie here? I need to know if Boogie's here.
I thought so.
She was, but she might have, walked away to do something.
Yeah. Yep, there it is. God.
By the way, Philly's getting close to having Goddard back. Not this week. Getting close.
Right.
He's doubtful entering today, so that means he might be able to play against the Cowgirls next week.
This is tough. Like this is definitely the game that makes you think the most because
no Zach Cunningham on the one side, and then Eric Armstead is questionable on the other side. Otherwise, they're relatively healthy, considering everyone else that's injured is on the IR. Brock Purdy actually has more passing yards than Jalen Hurts this season.
Yeah, but
that's disgusting.
If the Eagles get out to a lead, how does Purdy play versus what you get with Jalen from behind, even if they fall behind?
And more touchdowns than Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah. But this...
I don't fucking care. I'm taking the Eagles.
You know what? I am too. I have a feeling San Fran... Like, the Eagles could lose this game, and it'd be fine. I feel like it means so much more to San Francisco.
I'm the other way around. Oh, come on. All right, the official fucking playoffs have got announced. Sorry. Michigan versus Alabama as the 1 and the 4, and Washington versus Texas as the 2 and 3. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit. They're on their number 3 quarterback. The fact that you bounced Florida State after that grindy win yesterday to stay undefeated is disrespectful. I
think it's more about TV draw, right? Like and the fact that you moved Alabama, like that's tough.
Alabama to the 4, Texas all the way to the 3, and you bounced Georgia.
You can't put Alabama in there without putting Texas because Texas beat them, right?
Yeah.
So,
but I don't know. I tweeted about it earlier today. I posted it earlier today. I don't know if anyone else saw it. J.J. Watt's idea is genius. I know they weren't going to do it because the NCAA is a bunch of shitheads that don't know football at all. They just like to make money. But J.J. Watt said we need to make an emergency 16 playoff this season, make Washington and Michigan get their bye week, and then do a random draw between Texas, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida State to see who in those 4 playoff games. And I was like, and he even said it. He goes, why not? Why not?
And just auction off the TV rights.
Like why the fuck not? Those 4 teams, all those 4 teams besides the Oregon, besides Washington.
That's why I'm glad with the new format, right? Because like this isn't going to happen.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I know Georgia lost yesterday, but they played a really good second half. They're still a top team. It's crazy to think they're not in the playoff,
You could play
especially
that
after
game again and
back-to-back
they could beat
national.
Alabama, right? Like,
Yeah, especially after back-to-back national titles. Like, it's kind of hard to say, oh, one loss in a title game against a division
that was the
rival
first
is.
time they got beat in 728 days or something like that.
Yeah, like it's just hard to see that one loss in that long is just enough to not be a playoff team. Is kind of crazy to me, and I think Texas is going to get bounced. I just don't. Washington is better than them in every aspect of football, so I just don't. I don't know. But anyway, all right. Back to football. Football. I'm taking the Eagles, and I know you said you think Washington, San Francisco has more to lose. I think Philly has more to lose here because if they lose this game, all that trash talk about we just needed Purdy and we would have beat you last year. And all the Eagles saying, oh, well, now you have him. Let's see what you got. If you lose this game, you also then go into Dallas next week. And if you lose that game, you're not even first in your division. You're now a wild card team. You win this game, the game against Dallas next week does not mean as much because if you lose, you're still only a 2-loss team and are a game up on Dallas.
Right. I have a feeling here, and I just feel like they're going to come out and feel disrespected that they're the underdog. I feel like San Francisco
That's crazy.
is playing like the better team, but I guess I would have it more of like an even line.
I would have had even or maybe a half point to a point, not 3.
Yeah.
Like you're giving them a 6-point line on a neutral field.
And it opened at 1 in favor of Philly.
I don't know. I'm all in on the Eagles this weekend. All in.
Deontay or Thielen PPR.
Son of a hoe. Deontay's playing the Cardinals, but he's still got Pickett. Thielen has Bryce Young.
And they're playing the Bucks.
I would pay money for the Panthers' new coach to be like, you know what? We're going to give Dalton a shot. Let Bryce Young get comfortable again, but that's not going to happen. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, because then he'd get fired immediately because of Tepper.
Yeah, Tepper's a piece
He'd probably
of shit.
fire him mid-game.
Yeah, he would walk out and just rip him off the sideline. Actually, you know what? If he announced it before the game, he wouldn't even be allowed to coach that game.
Yeah.
That's actually really tough. Let me look at what Deontay did in their 400-yard performance last week.
Deontay.
Steelers, Bengals.
That too.
Was 4 for 50 last week. But he had 8 targets. I don't know what was catchable, what wasn't. I don't have that stat.
I just feel like Johnson's not going to get a lion's share as to where Thielen will.
Thielen last week against the Titans had 1 catch for 2 yards.
Right. I think they're going to mix him in much better. And everybody knows to cover him, but Tampa Bay can't cover anybody.
Oh, this is so hard.
In a PPR league, yeah.
All right, so I will be honest. I was going to say Deontay's probably the safer bet because you're guaranteed probably 3 catches to 4 catches for maybe 35 to 40 yards. But Thielen is the bigger ceiling because you could have a 7-catch, 110-yard game from Thielen like we've seen.
I just think he's going to get more targets. So Pete, like
Christ.
Just receptions, right?
See, I don't watch enough of the Steelers. I mean, I keep up with the stats and stuff, but I just apparently missed his drop. He does have drop problems. He's had it his whole career. He had it at Purdue or Toledo. I can't remember which one he is.
He also doesn't play. He also doesn't run routes or try to get a fumble or.
Oh my God, that play I sent! I was literally like, I don't know how Mike Tomlin let him play the rest of the game.
Well, that
would have been like,
kind of also puts it like for this week. Like I'm like, are they just gonna make a point to him? You know what I mean?
I'm gonna say you take a gamble with the Bucs' 31st ranked pass defense. I think Thielen is still the better option. The new coach is gonna come in and try and set up plays to get Bryce Young comfortable, and the only way we've seen him comfortable all season is behind Chuba Hubbard running the ball and Adam Thielen catching the ball. So I feel the ceiling is way bigger. Now, if this is a must win and you want to feel what's comfortable, Deontay probably is your safer bet because you're guaranteed at least 3 catches out of Deontay Johnson. Adam Thielen, we saw last week, you could have those games where.
Yeah, but I mean, that that's really an outlier game. I mean, if you look at the overall,
Well, I mean, the last 3 weeks he's only gotten like 72 yards combined. But I mean,
yeah,
again,
but he has
going through
8, 6, 5, 8, 11, 11, 7, 11. You know what I mean? Like he gets more receptions, so he's gonna score more on that. So he's probably good for 6 and 60.
It's what I feel
average.
like today. There's a very good chance of 90 to 100 yards. It's just my biggest question is what the fuck is the special teams coordinator as head coach? What is the offense going to look like? Because they fired the offensive coordinator with it, so I don't know what he's doing at offense.
Yeah, didn't they fired a bunch of people, right? Like 3 people, 4 people.
I don't know what. Yeah, because the OC also didn't like Bryce Young. He wanted to go to Dalton.
Yeah, which we've seen, and it kind of worked.
Yeah.
Bye week and injuries right now are tough, especially this late. Because you're kind of
Thomas Brown. I don't know. I don't know who the fuck Thomas Brown is.
So, are you going with Deontay? Because I'm going Thielen here.
I'm gonna go Thielen.
I just think his receptions are going to be what pushes him over. I think it's probably within 2 points, like their projections. Because Deontay's playing Arizona, but I just think Thielen's upside is the amount of receptions you would see, even if they had similar yards. Just because he's option number 1.
I'm going to go with Thielen. I talked myself out of Deontay just because of how much I think Thielen's going to get involved. Their new offensive coordinator is the guy who was the OC at the University of Miami last season.
So useless?
He's apparently going to be special advised by Jim Caldwell, whatever that means. Jim Caldwell will serve as special advisor to the new offensive coordinator. I don't know. But I will go Adam Thielen. The Bucs defense is too freaking bad. You never know. Budda Baker floating around could wind up causing problems for Deontay Johnson all around. I mean, that guy is a freaking monster. So,
yeah.
Arizona, as bad as they are 14th against the pass. So, I mean, someone's not going to have a big day.
Yeah.
Between
it's always that team that wants to kind of spoil, right? And that's who they are this year.
Yeah.
So, like, if they can get a win on Pittsburgh, they would love to, even though they have their pick, right?
Arizona? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, Carolina doesn't have their pick, so they could care less.
Yeah, 100%. They're just giving it to Chicago. But, yeah, Bryce, we feel you on the bye week thing. I know I do, especially with injuries, because in one league I had Jonathan Taylor and Gus Edwards and Keaton Mitchell, and now Keaton Mitchell and Gus Edwards are on bye, and then, of course, Jonathan Taylor gets hurt. So I'm starting Michael Carter for the Cardinals, and Jaleel McLaughlin for the Broncos. Like, I had to pick up whatever the fuck was out there and just roll with it. I don't know.
Roll Tide.
But anyway, Chiefs, Packers, Sunday Night Football in Lambeau. Jordan Love has been rolling lately. I just want to say it because I don't believe it's real, and I'm not going to hesitate taking the Chiefs by 10.
Yeah, it opened at 7. It's now a 6-point line. Like you said, in Green Bay. It's supposed to be wet again. So MVS is good for at least 2 drops in the end zone.
I mean, the Chiefs' offense looked like shit when they played the Eagles in the weather.
And they still almost won the game.
But Isaiah Pacheco waked up last week, and we have the worst run defense in the NFL. I don't know if it's the worst, but it's definitely bottom 3.
Waked up? You mean woke up?
Yeah, he wake up.
Yeah, I'm the grammar, please. What up?
He waked up.
Yeah, is
there
a world where Kansas City underperforms here and loses this game? Yes.
No, because Aaron Jones isn't playing.
But I think Musgrave's out.
27th against the run. We've gotten better somewhere. I don't know where. We played Austin Eckler, and he can't run the football.
I was going to say maybe the Chargers just got worse. I think Musgrave is out.
He is not.
No?
Oh, wait. IR abdomen. Yeah, IR.
Okay, yeah.
So Musgrave's out. Aaron Jones is out. Jair Alexander's questionable. Bakhtiari's dead, I think. Devondre Campbell's questionable with a neck injury. Devarian Wicks is questionable with a knee injury. Darnell Savage is also questionable. And Jaden Reed is questionable. Like the whole fucking offense. Rudy Ford, the number 3 safety, is questionable.
Yeah, but at least you don't have Aaron Rodgers, who's not going to throw to those guys.
I mean,
all I'm saying is, I think this could be very telling about the Chiefs and how the rest of the season and the playoffs go for them, right?
if Jair was playing, I am curious. Who the fuck would he cover? He covers the number 1. The Chiefs don't have a 1.
Yeah, he's not going to cover Kelsey.
Yeah, right? He's too small. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of. I guess it would be. Oh, maybe Rice.
I guess, or probably just whoever lines up on the outside on the right. I don't know.
I would think Rice right now is the most potent target for them.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, but he's not going to play probably. He's just like Bakhtiari. He's taken the money and decided to stop playing football. I'll take the Chiefs.
I'm going to take the Chiefs here. I was waffling on it because I'm like, maybe this is a big upset for the day. The way they played Philly, I think they can kind of expose the same way, and they'll have greater success against Green Bay.
You know, a couple of years ago, all of you will probably remember him for the fantasy people. We had the undrafted rookie from Jacksonville, Mr. James Robinson, go off over 1,000 yards, rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year, was in the MVP conversation, was in the offensive player of the month conversation. And then after that season, they got Urban Meyer, and Urban Meyer decided he's no longer good and benched him, and he bounced out of Jacksonville over to the Giants and somehow didn't make it on the Giants behind Barkley. The Packers cut him this week. What the fuck happened to him? How are you so bad that without Aaron Jones, we couldn't use you behind A.J. Dillon?
Probably had more to do with like club related shit.
I just,
you know what I mean?
like, what?
Like maybe he just wasn't putting in the effort, stuff like that, because it just.
Oh wait, nope. They reactivated him after putting him on the practice squad at the start of the week. After Aaron Jones was injured, they reactivated him.
Okay, so that kind of makes sense. He
went up and down like a choo-choo train. I don't know.
Those guys get shuffled a lot, right?
Yeah. I don't know. He's better than – we have a guy on our roster named Elias Merriweather I've never heard of that plays running back. I don't know. But anyway, nonetheless, I don't know. James Robinson was so good that season and then never got another shot because they drafted ETN. And I was like, part of me is like, is he a locker room problem? Is he an attitude problem? Because you saw the talent. So I'm like, why is he not getting a shot somewhere? And I thought Green Bay, when they picked him up, was a great spot because Aaron Jones had that really, I don't know how he's even questioned. I don't know how he was questionable during the week. That injury when he played Detroit, when he tried to stop and the tackle went down and his leg stayed straight as his body went forward, I was like, oh, he's done for the year. And they were like, oh, it's not as bad as we thought. I was like, I don't know how. I don't know how. I understand on A.J. Dillon, the dude's thighs terrify me. But I don't know how on Aaron Jones. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs.
I mean, I've picked against the Packers 5 straight weeks, and they've won 2 in a row. So maybe they get it right. I don't know. But
I mean, I gave you my strategy, and
I just want to lose because now I'm seeing a lot of people project Seattle actually go ahead and gets Michael Penix, and I'm like, well, now I want to get ahead of Seattle in the draft, so I have at least some hope. Yeah, and granted, I'm starting to really love Bo Nix more and more. The more I watch him play, even when that loss to Washington this Friday, he looked phenomenal. And I was like, okay.
Here's the thing. You're getting him, and he's got that much more experience, right? Like, he's as old entering as, what, Brock Purdy and Trevor Lawrence?
He's 24. He turns 24 or he is 24. I don't remember.
So he'd be as old as those guys coming in.
Yeah, he's like Baker. Baker entered the league at 23.
And what's crazy is you've never started a season. He's never made a playoff, so you don't see him in those games.
Yeah.
And he's quietly under the radar. Herbert was like that until Herbert kind of burst onto the scene, right?
Yeah. But like, if you look at the Pac-12 championship game, and I know they didn't make the playoff, and they might have if they won that game. They don't like to give Pac-12 teams a shot. I mean, I'm amazed they actually put Washington second. I honestly thought they were.
They have to, because they just beat a top 5 opponent, and there was no other place to put them but 2.
Yeah, I was like, because they hate the Pac-12 so much, I was like, there's a chance they screw this up. But
I think they take Texas to task. Like, I really do.
I think they win the title because I don't think Michigan without Jim Harbaugh is good enough.
No, he's back.
Oh, he's back?
Yeah, he only got suspended for the 3 games.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, Michigan versus them would be a real fun game.
But here's the thing about Harbaugh. He's not really like a hands-on coach. He coaches the other coaches.
Yeah, but he's also a firecracker on the sideline.
Really he's a motivator. He's a leader, but he actually, like, he doesn't call plays unless it's like something like real big on fourth, like he gives his input. But they said that's why the team can succeed when he missed 6 games this year.
I think it was only 4. I thought it was the 3 and then 1 at the start of the season, or was it 3 at the start of the season?
I thought it was 3.
I don't remember.
Let me look it up. But that's the thing is,
as a Wisconsin guy, I try to ignore Michigan until it gets too late in the season. Wisconsin and Maryland, but But anyway, yeah, I keep hoping for Michael Penix while you look it up. And I mean, Bo Nix is really starting to climb because I know they lost, but like I said, that Pac-12 game, he looked phenomenal. I had no complaints about what I saw out of Bo Nix. It's just Oregon couldn't win the game.
Yeah, I mean, I thought,
he actually got outplayed.
That loss obviously doomed him. But outplayed. I thought, like, if they could win that game, they had a shot. Like, they were actually a very well put together team. They just underperformed in a couple of games. Kind of like Georgia, right? Like, Georgia's biggest downfall was that they couldn't live up to the last 2 Georgia teams, and they've lost 34 defensive starters in the last 4 years to the NFL. Like, their run defense the last 2 years gave up 75 yards per game the whole season and 78 yards, and now they give up 125 on the ground. So, like, obviously that's some big shoes to fill. And now, what I think is outrageous, and I know Alabama just beat them, but I can't believe they didn't give them a shot at a three-peat.
I honestly thought they should have stayed in. I don't know.
I did too. I mean, I think you could Texas beat Alabama, so like it's really hard. Like,
so I think if Texas maybe let Oregon State stay in that game, or Oklahoma State stay in that game, then maybe it would have been closer. Like maybe a harder decision. But since Texas came out and smoked their championship, I just
41-24 or something like that.
It was a blowout. I don't remember the exact score, but I was like, all right, they kind of convinced everybody that they're a top team. I'm not convinced. They play in a conference where there's no defenses, and I think you're about to find out what defense looks like when you play Washington. And if you survive that, Michigan's going to embarrass you. I'm sorry to Bama fans. I'm not giving you a shot. Not giving you a shot in hell against Michigan.
No, I think Michigan would handle them. Harbaugh did serve a self-imposed 3-game suspension to start the season, and he missed 3. So 6 games out of their 13-0 season.
He's coming to the league next year. I really hope it's the Chargers.
Oh my God, would that be amazing? I don't know if here's the thing. That family shouldn't care about paying him. Shouldn't at all.
No. And he would put asses in the seats.
More than you get because you don't have any fucking home games right now.
Yep. Their fans would be extremely ecstatic to have him around.
Think about who they compete with. They're not even the biggest draw in that stadium.
Nope. And they're not even, And if you look at the division, now, they're potentially the worst team in the division.
They are the worst team in the division.
I have a hard time picking Aiden O'Connell over him.
By the way, this Emmanuel Acho is a clown, right? Like,
He'll do anything to pick apart Herbert like it's all Herbert's fault.
But every time he does, Herbert just comes out and slams it in his face. Like
he needs to shut his fucking mouth. He
like
thinks
where would you
was
in quarterbacks? Obviously Herbert, like obviously you look at record, you're like, oh my god, he's like a 500. Okay, but you launch Trevor Lawrence up into the stratosphere, and his numbers are similar to Mac Jones. Like Herbert, like I would put Herbert in front of Trevor Lawrence.
Herbert's numbers this year: 2,826 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks. You go to Jacksonville. He has 100 more yards than Trevor Lawrence. Slightly higher completion percentage, but he's got 8 more touchdowns and 1 less interception than Trevor Lawrence.
Right. Like where, like in the grand scheme of quarterbacks, where would you put Herbert right now?
Okay, Boogie's ears are going to be burning. Right now, I have Jalen Hurts as my 1 because he wins in all situations. Mahomes is my 2.
I mean, that's just pedigree, right?
Well, his receivers are hurting him. He's honestly the best quarterback in the NFL, but when you have no receivers,
if you give him AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, they're winning the title.
They're going 17-0, like Nick Wright predicted.
Right, exactly. So,
but so then are we including the people that aren't playing this season?
I would still consider like the guys who are premier quarterbacks. So like Burrow, yes.
Okay, so I'll take Burrow 3. I will take Lamar 4. People are going to shit on me for this, but 5, I still don't have Herbert. I've got Mr. Houston. I've got CJ Stroud.
Well, I may put – that's what I'm saying. So, like, you might shuffle him based on recent, right?
I think if Stroud had Keenan Allen, he would be breaking records already. But yeah. I have Sir Herbert probably 6th. I'm trying to think of the bye week teams, make sure I'm not forgetting anyone. Yeah, I've got Herbert above Josh Allen because he doesn't turn the ball over like Josh Allen.
Right. Like I think Josh Allen is still a wonderful talent. Like don't get me wrong.
I have him 7. I think Josh Allen's still better than Dak. I know what Dak's doing right now.
I think the biggest thing against Josh is that like they've now and kind of what you're going to have with Herbert is you've missed the window.
At least for this season.
Because like Josh this year I think is like 16 million against the cap, but next year it's more than double. Herbert, you
44,
just paid
I think is what's his name said. Colin Cowherd.
Right. And Herbert just got expensive. He just signed his big contract. Burrow just got expensive. You're seeing what happens when you get expensive.
So earlier when I was saying the Chiefs just need to go ahead and get a receiver if they can get somebody to take a pay cut, I just want to clarify next year, as of right now, free agent receivers, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, Mike Evans, Hollywood Brown, Calvin Ridley. Like, if you give Patrick Mahomes any of them.
Yeah, but what do they have for money? Like, that's
what I'm saying. You got to get Kelsey to take a pay cut. You've got to get Mahomes somehow to renegotiate again.
You have to get Jones to agree to something kind of favorable.
Yeah, you also need to talk to your defense, your left tackle, because he is eating way too much money. And then L'Jarius Sneed is also a free agent, so they need to find a way to keep
I think Sneed is gone. I don't think they can pay him. He's too good. He really is.
No, he'll probably wind up somewhere like Atlanta to go next to AJ Terrell because they've got money.
There's a few teams that are going to have a ton of money next year.
Yeah. All right, we got one game left. This shouldn't take long.
Cincy,
Bengals with Jake Browning against the Jags in Jacksonville. Monday Night Football, 8:15 p.m. tomorrow. Jags have been on a 12-year drought of Monday Night Football. It has been 12 years since they were last on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and they're a 9.5-point favorite.
Yeah. They're 8-3.
It opened at 7.5, so it's gotten worse.
Cam Taylor-Britt's out for the Bengals, so they're missing their top corner, number 2 corner. I don't know what the fuck they consider him.
I feel like this is almost a trap, but I just can't take Cincinnati without Joe Burrow.
What I saw out of last week out of Jake Browning, it wasn't terrible, but a couple of those throws were so underthrown that I think Jacksonville's very ball hawking defense will take advantage of it, and I agree.
Right.
I have Jags winning this game.
I know we're trying to move here. I guess we just got through all the games, and I didn't pick an upset, but I have Denver upsetting Houston.
I wrote that down.
Okay.
Figured if you took another, I'll just circle whichever one.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more fantasy questions before the game start? Feel free. I'm actually checking my roster now to make sure no injuries happened because I know Noah Brown and Tank Dell were questionable. Noah Brown is active. Tank Dell's active. Cool. Jonathan Owens is active. He was questionable. I know people don't play defensive players like us, but
yeah, we always have that piece. We're always like, meh.
With my entire bench being bye week players, I didn't want to cut some of my defensive players because they're too good, so I just went and picked up randoms.
Yeah, sometimes you have to.
Well, I had 4 IRs, so I was like, just move them to the IR and free up bench space.
And apparently, so Joe Burrow did have his surgery and everything went well.
Yeah.
So I would imagine he'll be back for the beginning of next year.
Yeah, he'll be back. It's a wrist injury? He'll be fine.
It was wrist ligaments.
There you go. In one league, I'm starting A.T. Perry. That's how bad I am at injuries and bye weeks.
Wow.
It's fucking awesome.
I think my big bye week was like week 9 when I had like almost everybody. Like I had to max out my team, so like everybody on my bench was on bye and everybody in wasn't, and I had to sign 2 guys. Like I haven't really been bitten by injury bug yet, but I'm sure it's coming, and it'll come at the worst time. Even though
tomorrow we have less to cover because we only have 6 bye weeks, so we have less games, and some of these games might not really have much enjoyment to talk about. We still have it's every 4 weeks. Last week was week 12. We kind of fucking slept on it. We have our power rankings, top 10, bottom 5 tomorrow. And next week, I'm going to probably start naming some free agents that we might want to start looking like we might want to have conversation about. And one of them is Nick Chubb. I don't know what the Browns are going to do.
Yeah, do they like just roll with Ford because they're wasting all their money on Deshaun? Like,
yeah, because Nick Chubb just underwent a second surgery a day ago.
Yeah, there was talk that would have had to have been done just because of the extent of the injury. So I don't think that was really too.
No, I know, but he's 26, 27, and you know how they treat running backs nowadays.
Second time it's been on this leg.
Yeah, so I'm just like, there's going to be some free agent talks to have, especially like Mike Evans too, because he's older, but like of a team that might just want a veteran good receiver, like like I said, Kansas City. So anyway,
we're going
to roll in a minute.
Could you imagine if Patrick Mahomes had Mike Evans?
I mean, actually, you know what? I'm curious before we get out of here because I know a lot of people love records, and I know me and you love records, and I want to know. But
Mike Evans is like quietly one of the best receivers just because he's had fucking pylons throwing to him for most of his career, and then
he's also only 150 yards away from another 1,000-yard season, which would be every year of his career, and it's continued even with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
That's impressive as fuck.
When he drops the ball, everybody's like, oh, shit. Like, and it happens, but.
It is weird to see him drop a ball because of how sure-handed he's been, because even I go, what the hell? But I'm like, it happens to everybody except for Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, and you saw what happened when Larry got an actual quarterback. He got better, which is scary. Which also makes me think back to Megatron. It's like, what could have been?
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna raid for those Twitch streamers if you want to watch potentially some Chucky games because Chucky's now on DVD.
We're going over to Grump.
We're going over to the Grizzly.
I like it. That beautiful beard of his.
We don't want to cut into football. We always advertise that we'll be done by football time so people can hang out with us and then just watch football. So we're going to You Grizzlies
Move
said,
on
well,
over.
football's about to start. My dogs are losing their mind again because it's 1:00.
Makes sense. They're on schedule.
Yeah, they have a fucking clock in them. I'll tell you what. You calm down. He's actually going to sleep,
Yeah, my
which
dog's
won't
snoring behind me.
stick because as soon as I open that back door, he's going to lose his shit. But we're back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Guys, if you want to come talk about everything you saw happen today, thank you so much again, Nut Tree, for the sub. We appreciate you. But if you guys want to come talk about everything that happens today in football, hang out with us. There's going to be more college football talk because the Final Four will I'll probably break it down tomorrow during the day in my brain while I'm working. And I don't know. There's other bowl games that are going to start getting announced. So
we'll see. We'll see.
All right. We're going to rate Grizzly. Have a good day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night at 8.
Enjoy the football.
I forgot to mention the